Hey everyone, it's Kim Velez here with amazing Agnes Vivarelli. Woohoo!
Hi, Kim.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you.
You too. We're so excited for this today. So do you want to tell our amazing viewers what we're going to be discussing today?
Yes, we just had a topic of trust versus distrust, how you attract trust in a relationship or in people in general, or distrust, what that does to your experiences on the outside.
Yes, I love this topic. I think it's good because I don't think it's talked about that much, and
Yeah.
it's really important. So what do you think, like, what's the biggest question you get around where you see that with your clients?
I see a lot of people looking for evidence of distrust and then being in anxiety and fear and not knowing what to do with it, and it being a compulsion and an obsession. And now with social media, it's exploded that very trait. It explodes it because you feel like you can go lurking around in the background. People are often saying, oh, I was on WhatsApp and I could see that she was on there at 2 a.m. So you're lurking around on WhatsApp, and then you're lurking around on looking at what people are doing on Facebook, on Instagram. They're kind of the top three. And then you implode your anxiety and fear, and then you torture yourself with it. So I think that is a massive thing at the moment for many people that watch your channel, my channel, and YouTube in general.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think it's important because it's almost like which comes first, the chicken before the egg or the egg before the chicken.
Yes.
Really, like, which comes first? The cheating came before I was suspicious, or did the cheating come after I was suspicious? And we believe as intentional manifestors, conscious creators, that the cheating came after you were distrusting and fearful and lurking on social media and questioning and doubting and looking through all the comments and the scrolls and the pages to see who liked what and who's this person and who is she and who is he and all of the above,
Yeah. And when you look at all that, underneath is, I'm not good enough. I'm second best to someone I don't know. Or what I have, if you're, say, with somebody, what I have, it's going to be taken away by somebody that I don't know because she will be prettier than me, or he'll be more handsome than me if you're a guy, or he'll be more successful than me. Whatever it is, you've got some thoughts that the outside world is so much better than you. Therefore, what you have is going to be taken away because you don't measure up in some way. But that's all the underlying stuff of yours that creates you going to look for those things.
Yes, that's why I love you, girl, because, well, it's true, because it really always boils down to that I'm not good enough somehow. I'm falling short. I don't measure up. And I think it's important to see that, because it isn't just as simple to just, think different. Well, you have to feel different and believe differently about who you are, because we can think all day long like, oh, they love me, they're faithful, they're loyal. But if we are insecure and we feel like we don't measure up, and we're always worried about, what can happen, and doing the lurking and all the behaviors, because we know, like, our decisions and our actions are driven dominantly by the subconscious beliefs. So if that's your true belief about you, you're going to keep doing those behaviors, and it will override just thinking different. You have to feel it and believe it and be it.
Yeah. And you got to deal with the underlying stuff through, I think, letting out your locked up childhood shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You've also got to deal with the next level, which is working on the self-love and re-inputting that you are good enough, and that you are, that there isn't anything wrong with you. It's almost like we walk around. I see this again and again and again, and this has been in my own life too, that you feel that you're not good enough, and you think, for who? Good enough for who? Like who's standing around going, you're not good enough? Like, why do we feel like it's a weird thing?
Yeah.
So you got to go, okay, well, I can let that go because I don't need to be good enough for somebody, whoever they are, this mystical person. And it's really continuing to work on your thought first. One thought, I am good enough. It's really simple. You flip the negative into the positive. You work on that at the base root. While I remember too, Kim, there's a website called recreateyourlife.com. Now, it's run by Shelley and Morty Lefko. He's dead now. He's died a while ago. She's still carrying on the work. Their whole lifetime's work is changing beliefs. Now, when I interviewed her years ago, she said you can change any belief. It's not, you can change only these, but not these ones.
Right.
On their website, for free, you can go to their homepage and do a 30-minute process to get rid of the belief, I'm not good enough. And it is absolutely brilliant. If you suffer from that, for your viewers, my viewers, anybody that watches this YouTube, spend 30 minutes and do that. And I would even suggest you do it once a week for, some months, because it's changing that at the base. And it's a really good process, and it goes back to your childhood stuff. So
it does.
We'll put the link down below for that, for people that want to go and have a look.
Sharing that. And I think too, it's important too, because I always share this, and I know you do this as well, because we've talked about this a million times. It's when you're feeling that way. So when we're changing the story, when we're changing the belief, it's also learning how to soothe ourselves in new ways, right? Because what people are doing is, I feel scared, I feel insecure, I don't feel good enough, I'm distrusting. So they go check social media, they're doing all these things, like you said, to find the proof, because our subconscious mind is going to look for the evidence of whatever you're believing and thinking. So I think it's important that when people are changing their belief system and changing their thoughts, that they're still going to feel anxious, nervous, and scared at times. So it's important for them to learn, okay, when I'm feeling that way, instead of going and checking, because that's just going to train you to keep doing that, what else can I do instead? How do I self-soothe, right?
Yeah.
I think that's so important, because it's the anxiety just doesn't go away overnight until they actually change that thought into a belief that they actually identify with, right?
And I think it's like, okay, say you go on WhatsApp and the person that you're interested in, you can see they're on there at 2:00 in the morning. What you got to do is just get off there and work on your self-soothing at that moment. Yes. Stop obsessing, trying to get in, trying to text them in the middle of it to intercept, whatever, which is all fear-based stuff. Pull yourself away, switch your phone off and go, okay, what does that make me feel? That's made me feel fear. I feel fear that they're talking to somebody else instead of me. I feel fear that they want that person more than me. I feel fear something's going on behind my back. I feel fear that I'm going to lose what I have, or that the thing I want isn't going to come to me. Okay, there's your little bag of crap that you have to deal with that's kicking your ass right now. So you go, okay, I'm going to go and work on that. I'm going to try and process. I'm going to let that stuff come up. I'm going to say, where did that first come from? And then I'm going to ask Source, please help me let this go. I do not want to carry this anymore. And you might just be laying on your back, on your bed, and you ask for assistance. If you can't access it that way, go and do Dr. Hugh Len's inner child meditation. Go and do something that really scoops that stuff out and throws it out. Then you can re-input, I am good enough, or I am love, or I am first best, or whatever it is. You've got to re-input it. But you can't re-input without doing the clearing, I think, first, because you're icing a rotten cake, as we've talked about before, and it doesn't work.
Right.
So deal with what it brings up in you. Acknowledge it and say to yourself, okay, ow, I've just been hitting the raw pink nerve, and I've interpreted something's going on because this is familiar to old stuff. So it's the old stuff that's being activated and it's being poked in the raw pink nerve by right now what I saw on WhatsApp. So now let me use this as an experience to release some old baggage and free myself up even more. And then what you do is you say, I trust you, and you start projecting that. So if you can do those 3 steps and you keep saying it, I trust you, I trust you, I trust you, I trust you. and you let it go, because we rarely have thoughts like that about other people that we want to be in relationship with. If we see that kind of behavior, it triggers a lot of old distrust.
Yes. And then we assume not in our favor. And then that's, if we perpetuate that, then we get what's not in our favor. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you add to it, Kim? What would you add to that?
Well, I mean, listen, you covered everything. I think the only thing is I would also just remind people that you have to understand that when you're feeling that way, you have to do this inner talk and really learn how to self-soothe, because you're learning a tool, you're empowering yourself that I don't have to keep assuming that I'm being rejected. I don't have to keep assuming that this is like the worst case scenario for me, because everything is always the best case scenario for us until we assume it's not. So yes, I see somebody on WhatsApp at 2 a.m. in the morning, we're going to think the worst case scenario. But like, you know, one of the things I do for myself personally is like, I don't go check social media. Like I stopped that years ago. Like the last guy I dated and was with for over a year, like I never went on his stuff, and his stuff was open to the public. Like it's not blocked, you know, like private. I'm sorry. I don't know if you can hear my cats. They're like, they're fighting each other over there. Can you hear them? They're so loud, girls.
That's funny.
Sorry. I don't remember what we were saying. We were saying, so even in the, you know, my relationships, I don't go on their social media because I just don't want to even assume anything, because that's what we're going to do. So I just really try to stay present in the moment and look at how someone's showing up in my reality, and as it feels good, and just focus on what I want. So it just stays moving in that direction, you know, and knowing that what is mine will be mine. And I don't have to worry about outside influences.
I remember an affirmation from years ago, and it was obviously from, you know, an old, probably dead person, because the wording's quite old school. And it was, whatever is for me will never go by me. And I remember thinking, I like that kind of, it's got a bit of a romantic feel to it, you know, that, whatever is mine, you know, will be there. And I loved it. And I still use it. Whatever is for me will never go by me, for, you know, like you've just moved not long ago for a new place to live, or for, you know, a new car, whatever it is, whatever is for me will never go by me, because it's just a match to my desires. So if you sink into that and you just are in that state, as Neville talks about states, the state of I'm secure in the knowing that is such a beautiful state to be in.
It's the best state to be in. It's, to me, that is the epitome of inner peace, you know, because I'm always secure and trusting and knowing that I'm going to get what I want, and not being attached to it has to look a certain way. You know, because, you know, people say this all the time, especially with like love, you know, well, I want this one person, and I'm scared I'm going to manifest someone else that I'm not going to be attracted to, but then they have all the other qualities. I'm like, but then that's not an alignment for you. You know, like I tell people, like, you can have it all, like whatever you want to have in a connection and a partner. You're not going to settle. You're not going to just, this person I'm not attracted to, but they match everything. Then he's not the one for you, or she's not the one for you. So it's always knowing that as this powerful manifester, that I don't have to get attached to this person, because I've been very vocal about, you know, my own experiences with SPs, and what I fundamentally believe is that I'm going to win in love no matter what. So I don't care if it comes through a specific person or someone brand new, because it will be what I desire, because I won't settle, you know? So that gets me excited to all the possibilities of amazing men on this planet that I have an opportunity to, you know, become aligned with. And that's really exciting, instead of this fear of, oh my God, it's only one person all the time for me constantly, you know, and it has to be this way right now. So, you know, it's just a mindset. It's what people choose to believe, and their own perspective. And it doesn't free them if they feel like it has to be this way right now. It doesn't.
Yeah. And, you know, you and I were talking about this a bit behind the scenes about twin flames, and, you know, people bring up soulmates often and things like that. And I want to say this about that subject, that, you know, a lot of people believe there's only one person for them. And now, if you have that belief system and you get together when you're 22 years old and you just know you're meant to be together and you love each other and it's the best relationship you ever have, and then that person, for some unknown reason, whatever happens, there's some ending and they die and you're 30 years old, does that then mean you can never be with someone again because you've only ever had one soulmate or one twin flame?
Right.
So I personally believe, and you and I talked about this before, that there can be another person.
Yes.
There can be
many.
There can be many. It's all a reflection of you and where you're at. So, yeah, I mean, that would be terrible to be 30 years old and then you live till 75 and you go, well, I've only had one soulmate. I can't be with anybody else.
Yes, yes. And I think too, and this is just life experience, that, you know, I didn't know this at 19. I didn't know this in my early 20s. I just know this from aging and just having experiences that, like, there's so many different levels of love. And when you transition and you go through your own process of self-love, you experience different and deeper connections with other people than you will have ever experienced than when you were 20 or 19. Like, no relationship is ever the same. So even though you love someone so much at this one time, I was married for 10 years. I had my child with this, you know, my ex-husband, like, we were in love, but like, I don't feel the same for him now, you know, and I will be in love again. Like, it will be different because it's a different relationship and a different person. And I'm different than I was when I was at 19, you know, like, it's just we all go through different stages and transitions. So I think the beautiful process, the spiritual process, is understanding you can manifest a specific person. We all know that. We've all done it a million times, right? It's actually very easy. But it's like, I always remind people, and you do this too, and we've talked about this so many times before, it's like, what kind of relationship do you want though? Do you want a person back in where you have the same repeated cycles, or what is the relationship you want? And then focus on how you feel, and then trust and know that whoever is in alignment with that will present itself. It always does. And then you don't have to go on WhatsApp at 2 a.m. and check Facebook. I have friends that are married that are not friends with their husband on Facebook because she's just like, it's just stupid. She's like, I live with him. I see him every day. I don't need to be connected to him on social media because I just you know, nothing's happening in their marriage bad that I'm aware of. But like, they have twins, like they have a beautiful marriage, but it's like, she's like, it's just stupid to me. Like, he's home every night. Like, I'm with him. We have kids. We're together all the time. Why do I need to be on social media? You know,
lovely attitude. I think that's very healthy. And, you know, I mean, some people like social media, other people don't. My partner's not even on it. He's totally uninterested in that whole world, and that makes, for me, it makes it easy. But if he was, I'd be like your friend.
Yes,
it's none of my business.
I don't want to know.
No, it's like a whole, like you say, when you've got a relationship, you have a 3D face-to-face, you know, old-fashioned relationship, not via a platform.
Yes.
So,
well, and that deep-rooted insecurity, like you were talking about, like the wounds from childhood, I actually just did a whole masterclass I created on inner child work. So it's so funny that, like,
really?
Yes. Yeah. I'm
Unreal.
finishing it up, I think, in like 2 days, but it's funny that you're bringing this up because I agree with you. Like, you know, 90% of the beliefs people have are rooted from their childhood. So it's like, there's a process, and to me, it's part of the self-love journey, like to release that and know that and kind of reconcile that past so you get unanchored energetically and emotionally, so then you can move into the realities and the kind of experiences you want through new energy and new emotions via beliefs, you know?
That's so cool. Well, we can put the links down below because by the time this gets uploaded, you'll be finished it.
Yes, God willing. Yeah. It was just funny. Thank you. It was just funny because I was like, no,
Yeah.
it's so important that we're both in sync.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I literally just like came up with this a couple days ago and just started creating it like crazy. Yeah.
Lovely. Lovely.
But it is important. And that's the people that are looking for that evidence to solidify that, see, I'm not good enough. And this is why, you know, I can't trust people because people always let me down, or everyone I'm with cheats on me.
Yeah.
When you're meeting the new person or whoever you're involved with, that's the background story that you have that's playing in the background, you know?
Yeah.
It didn't go away. It's just, it got quieted a little bit because you were distracted by, in the beginning, how exciting and the reassurance you were getting. And then those insecurities started.
Yeah.
Then you heard, right?
Exactly. Exactly. It's all, I think relationships are so much about clearing old stuff to become lighter and lighter and freer and more your authentic self. You shedding all, it's like you collect that stuff in childhood and then in adulthood you shed it, you know? So it's really interesting. You're going back to where you started.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's a beautiful concept. It's true. Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it is true. And I think that's the power of, you know, you and I really subscribe to the self-love process, but the freeing of not having to have it now because you already feel it. Like, and people miss that. Like that's the spiritual piece to me. The spiritual piece to me is that I am tapped into the power of divine. I have the feeling of love and abundance flowing through me, and I can access that any second of the day that I desire without needing anything or anyone outside of me. And until you get that concept, you're always going to emotional suffer. I don't want to say always, because I still emotional suffer. It's just rare. It's small fleeting moments, you know?
Yeah.
But you will live in a life of emotional suffering and always that fear that this is going to leave me. When is this going to come in? I have to have this now because I need to feel different. I need to feel that love, that worthy, I'm good enough, you know, they need to prove to me that I can trust them, you know, instead of, well, what does it feel like to be trusting someone? What does it feel like to know I'm safe emotionally? What does it feel like to know that I am loved and I'm okay?
Nice words. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, Kim. How does it feel to be trusting someone? How does it feel? Rather than, do I trust you? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, you drop the preoccupation. You go, okay, I'm going to work on how does it feel to trust somebody. That's a powerful statement.
Yeah. Well, because that's what we're looking for. What we're missing that feeling if we're feeling the opposite of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a childhood thing.
Yeah.
So, and we can undo it. Childhood is just a blueprint. You can still, you know and be aware of your blueprint and then go, okay, now I'm aware of it and I'm not just on automatic pilot. Now I can work towards what is it that I want, which is the opposite. So I'm going to start to learn the thoughts and the feelings that go with somebody that has trusting relationships. I'm going to learn what they do and I'm going to practice it while clearing the backlog.
Yeah.
And then you eventually just get there. You do get there.
You do get there. And along the way, the relationships get better, you know, whether they last longer or they're more emotionally connected, they're more fulfilling. Like you will see the relationships transform, whether you stay with people or you don't, but like the experiences you have get better. Like, and I think people really don't understand that too. You know, it's almost like until I get the final destination, that end result that I want, everything sucks. And it's like, no, it actually gets better. You go through this beautiful process and feel it and be it. And it is better, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Good conversation. Good conversation. I hope that helps people a little bit to let go of anxiety around distrusting people.
Yeah. And I do agree with you. It's always coming back to the self, because not everybody feels that way in relationships, you know. And I love what you said when you were saying, like, how does someone who does trust people, you know, feel and think in a relationship, and start practicing that, you know, every time. Oh, I want to go check social media and see what they're doing because I'm feeling insecure, or I didn't hear from them today. Now I'm suspicious or whatever. Okay, hold on. Let me get my notebook out. What does someone who trusts someone, what would she be doing right now? What would she be doing right now? She would laugh it off. She would change the story. She would put her phone away. She would block everything on social media so she's not tempted. She'll help herself, you know?
Yeah.
She'll go take a bubble bath. She'll go watch a funny movie. She will, you know, call someone that she can talk to that is not bitching and venting about problems, and talk to them about, you know, this is what I want to focus on. Like, if you don't have a friend like that, then get a coach to help you with that, and set that up. But start doing that inner work so you break your shift and you have a new paradigm to be trusting, because you will never, ever get what you're desiring. Trust if you don't trust that you can trust.
Yes. Yeah.
It's late over here.
That's right. You've done very well. You've done
anymore. We're going since 6:30 in the morning. I'm like,
oh my goodness. What time is it there now?
it's 9:21. Yeah, PM. So viewers, not
PM,
13 hours later.
Well, I think we've covered it anyway. I think we've covered it. I think that's good. That's a good good subject. And Kim and I, if we've got other YouTubes in relation to this topic of trust, we'll put them down below for you in the descriptions of our YouTube uploads.
Yes, love it. All right. I had so much fun as always. 5 viewers. It was amazing.
Bye, everyone.
Guys again.